Hello everyone, MJ here, and hope you can hear me. It's a little windy. I got my mic like right here, close to me. I should put my earplugs in because I don't need to hear you. Man, oh man. So I'm gonna put my Flare Audio Commerce in. So how is everybody doing? It's been a long time since I've been on. I miss live streaming, I miss interacting with all of you guys, and I miss, just life in general, but I got to tell you, colloquially expressed, these last 4 or 6 weeks have been hell. It's just been absolutely terrible. Yet, at the same time, I have a lot to be thankful for. As you guys know, I have cardiac arrhythmia. It's a problem that came out about 17 or 18 years ago, and I take medicine for it, and sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's horrific, and recently it's just been horrific, and I don't know why. It's been terrible, but what happens is I have premature ventricular contractions, PVCs. They're not life-threatening, they're not dangerous, but what happens is it drops beats. What happens is the ventricular side of the heart prematurely fires, and that just cancels the heartbeat. And so you go along. My heart rhythm is actually, it's funny because I'm a musician, my heart rhythm is actually very, very, very steady. The tempo. Then a PVC will hit and it just drops. But some weird thing happens where I start dropping a beat several times a minute. In maybe a 30-minute span, I might drop 2 or 3. That's a lot. In some cases, some medical journals will say if you have that many dropped beats per minute, you should go to the hospital, but I know better because it's just how I am. There's an old saying, felt like I was going to die, afraid I wouldn't. Well, it's not that you want to die, it's just every, a couple times every 30 seconds you feel like you're going to die, and it's bad because here's what happens. Body's really amazing, and if your heart goes along and it's pumping, because its job is to pump blood and keep blood pressure up, like any other pump, the rate slows down, the blood pressure drops. And so with a few drop beats, the cardiac output's not what it's supposed to be. And of course, the master control system's looking and says, hey, look, we've got a nominal beat of 67 or 70 or 71 beats per minute, but it looks like we got output like 59. So get hot, guys, and then your heart rate goes up. Now, you guys remember Overdue, the Sri Lankan guy? I went to visit him the other day. I haven't seen him for a long time. And I brought a little bit of whiskey with me. And lately, guys, I've been cutting way, way down. This past week, I only drank once. I drank tonight, and I drank just a couple of little shots. It's amazing. So I went to Odule's and I had a couple of my favorite garlic peanuts, and all of a sudden I started getting PVCs. Now, you guys recently know that I switched to an iPhone back in April, right? And I keep telling everybody, yeah, the reason I switched to the iPhone is because I got sick of all the inadequate multimedia. That's just a stock Mercedes. I mean, it's not even a GTR. You made all that noise and you didn't do anything. I mean, the acceleration was like, I could probably beat him on my bike. At any rate, what I was going to say was, I switched to the iPhone, and I tell everybody it's because I am sick of the mediocre multimedia implementation. I would go to use an app on Android, and the iOS version was better, with all these multimedia things. But the real reason is this right here, guys. EKG. Boy, oh boy, when I start having heart palpitations, I'm on this EKG like you wouldn't believe, man, and it works great. Okay, so you just, here it is. You just put your finger on the thing, and there it is, right? And that's what I've been doing. And whenever I get these premature ventricular contractions, you see MJ's going like this, and relax, and I email them to my doctor. Because supposedly they say that if you have an EKG and the doctor can clearly read what's going on, because it's electrical, guys. It's like an oscilloscope. It's amazing. An engineer can look at a waveform like, oh yeah, you got distortion and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like that. Not exactly analogous, but what I'm saying is supposedly the doctor can see what's happening and prescribe medication specifically for that issue. So I've been taking this medication and it generally works pretty good, but I've been having a bad time, and quite frankly, many times I've been wanting to live stream, and I just spent like a whole evening fighting with this, and I'm exhausted and I feel weak and I feel terrible. So I've been trying to do a couple things differently, and I started doing it about 2 months ago, and not anything about New Year's, but it just so happens to coincide with the new year, and in the new year I'm actually accomplishing a lot of these things. But what it is hey man, it's fun. Good to see you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I don't celebrate New Year's, and I don't think there's anything special, so I'm not going to say Happy New Year, but I'm glad to see you. No matter what, I'm glad to see you. Thank you for joining. This is Taiwan. This is Taiwan. 안녕하세요. So, 나는 MJ입니다. 고맙습니다. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. This is Taiwan, and see, the real Taiwan. But I like to broadcast on Africa TV. And in fact, we're broadcasting on 4 different platforms, ladies and gentlemen. We're broadcasting on YouTube, Africa TV. We're broadcasting on Facebook, and let me see, where else are we broadcasting? Hold on. Oh yeah, I forgot Twitch, because it doesn't matter. So anyway, I've been adding exercise, and I actually bought an exercise program for men over 50, because you know what I hate? Oh man, I hate you guys so much. There's always some 27-year-old fitness guru talking about pumping up testosterone. What for? If you're 27 years old, you got testosterone that you can give away. And I like seeing all these guys and just saying, hey, okay, so let me see what you look like when you're 65, okay? So what you need something that's age appropriate. So I got a program, and it's actually pretty good. I've been trying to do it. And the problem is I can't do all the exercises because I haven't exercised. I realized I've been sitting in the studio for the last 4 years and I haven't done any exercises. I'm like, oh man, so I'm getting back to that. But about the heart palpitations and all that, so you envy my life. I'm 67 years old. Of course, I've made it, and I'm financially stable and everything, and I have a lot of free time, but I have some medical problems at my age. But let me tell you what helps me. We say in Chinese, pao cai, and in Korean, you would call that kimchi. I love that, and the probiotics are excellent for the gut. That's a really amazing food, and I had some yesterday. I love it, and I really like. Well, I actually love Korean food. When I was younger, I lived with a Korean family, and they taught me a lot of Korean language, but I forgot most of it, so I'm sorry. But anyway, so I cut down on my drinking a lot. I've added exercise, but something else too. This is really interesting. There's a book that I heard about years ago, and I never got around to reading it, but I heard about it, I've always been interested in fitness and nutrition, although you can't tell by looking at me necessarily. And I'm looking at my new device, which I'll talk to you about in a few minutes. So, yeah, don't do it, okay? It's not worth it, I understand. In Korea, it's very competitive, right? Competition, right? Because you're trying to right? Always. Just remember, see, in Taiwan, work is work and life is life. And you can't kill life because of work. I appreciate that. But let me just say this. Because here in Taiwan, school competition is very difficult. I'm an old man, but I have a young daughter. She's 11 years old and she's in school. And right now, it's after 11 p.m. She's gonna study until midnight and she's gonna go to school tomorrow. It's very competitive. What can help is better organization and better time management. The problem is when you're tired, you don't care anymore. You just, ugh. But if you can improve your management, time management, and even, we say in English, time compression, where you can do things ahead of time that will save you time later, it can help. But I understand, and a lot of people in Korea feel like you do. And I pray for you, brother. I understand. I do. I see it in Taiwan too. Taiwan is a little bit different, of course, but it still has there's some Asian mindset about competition, especially with education. And you know, Taiwan, they say there are more PhDs per square meter in Taiwan than anywhere else in the world. There's so many PhDs here. There's so much competition, so many university students. So yeah, I hear you. This is not beer. This is soda water. This is like a cheap houseway. So I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm just drinking soda water. Miss Funk, Matthew, how you doing, bro? How's your family? How's Mr. Grayson? Hadn't seen or heard from him in a while. What I've been trying to do is get more organized, and people who know me personally and interact with me, like, you know, outside the internet, they know that recently I've been trying to go back to handwriting notes, handwriting scheduling. Now I carry pens with me, you know, so excellent. Wow, amazing, man. 3, amazing how at this time flies. Actually, this is a pen that Dave put me on. This is made by Muji. Now this is anodized aluminum, and it's a fountain pen. It's got a really nice nib on it, you know. It's beautiful. And so this is a skinny pen, and so I keep it in my bag, right? But I don't get a chance to use it too much. I have my old moleskin, you know, that I carry with me. But the problem with paper notes is I've got all these notebooks. See, when I was an engineer, I mean a professional engineer working for a company, I was consulting, and then like the second to last company I worked for was Cybex, and I had several engineers. They're all quad-ruled, you know, paper notebooks. And I have all of them up here, and I was doing, oh, you're a soldier. Oh, okay. You know, I knew many soldiers in the U.S. Army from Korea. They came to the United States, joined the military so they could become U.S. citizens. So I understand, boy, you got a lot of pressure on you, because the pressure on Korea military, I think, is very similar to pressure on Taiwan military. So, but thank you for your service. I'd like to say that. Military, police, fire, EMTs, you know, they protect our society. So I want to say thank you. And I respect you. So what I would do is, I like to invent things, even if they're goofy. I like to just, you know, draw plans for goofy things. But I've invented some viable products, and, you know, and made them, and they were successful. And so after I quit working for other people, and I moved to Taiwan, and we formed our own company, and it's a trading company. So basically, I only get involved in manufacturing if there's a problem. There might be some problem with the mold, the tooling, or the process or something. I'll go to the factory. I'll spend 1 day or 2 days. I'll take some pictures, take some measurements and stuff, and then talk to the boss. Like, okay, I think you got a problem with it, with this or that and other thing. We'll just make some adjustments to the tool. So I don't really do like what I used to do, right? So I don't have any notebooks really. I mean, the one Moleskine notebook that I got, I remember I bought it in 2010. It's not even full. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like 80% full, but I'm still got pages in it. So I wanted to get back into writing. So I started doing some research, and there's a company called Onyx, O-N-Y-X. And let me just tell you guys something. Don't think about it. Take my word for it. Onyx Books, B-O-O-X. It's a China company. Don't let that throw you off, because DJI and, you know, all these other companies, or Insta360, they're all Chinese. This is one of those well-managed, extremely well-engineered products and companies. Onyx Books, I got the Note Air 3C. It's color e-ink. Get the standard one. It's $500. Don't get the deluxe pen. The deluxe pen has an eraser. You don't need it, because with the Note Air 3C, you just scribble and it erases. Plus, if you're like me, I bought a Lamy EMR pen by the Lamy pen, L-A-M-Y pen company from Germany, and it's like a rollerball, a ballpoint pen, but it's an EMR nib, and it's fantastic. Yeah, the lights just cut out. Cool. So, but I got this light across the street here, so my face is lit up. Wow, look at this. So here's the thing. I went online and I was searching for a planner, and I found a thing called the Ultimate Planner. So I checked it out, and they have an Ultimate Planner for Books, B-O-O-X. That's the name of the company, Onyx Books. It's weird how there's two names. It's Onyx Books. And it's $20, and I bought it. It's about 1,800 pages. It is a hyperlinked PDF file. Now imagine this. You use the reader, you click on it, and it opens up, and then you've got tabs along the side, you know, 2024, that's your year overview. They get monthly overviews, and then you can open the calendar, then there's a, you know, month by month, and each day you can click on, it's all hyperlinked, and you can drill down, you can plan like granular details, and you can write on the surface, and it feels like paper. It's not shiny, there's a little bit of a tooth to it, but the Onyx Books, B-O-O-X, Note Air 3 has changed my life. I spend about 30 minutes to an hour with it every day at least. I have a separate note section called a logbook. I do personal study projects, you know this. I do like spiritual projects. I do like secular projects where I'm interested in scientific things. I just have so many questions and so many things that I want to do. So, okay, hi Diggs, how are you? Welcome on Twitch. And so, writing in e-ink is an interesting experience, and you can use it has a fountain pen or a rollerball ballpoint pen type emulation. And I gotta tell you, when I'm writing with the ballpoint pen, it's uncanny. It looks exactly like a ballpoint pen on paper. But here's the freaky thing. See, with all my engineering notebooks that I have, I can't search them. Yeah, I could scan them. I've got a machine upstairs I can scan and put them into a PDF, but they're handwritten notes, they're drawings. Every single handwritten note on the book's devices is searchable, and that's what's so bizarre. You could be making handwritten notes about different topics, and you know, you could say, well, you know, I talked about, I forget, like some kind of die casting tool or something, and so you just search die casting tool, and it brings up your handwritten notes, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. So it's changed everything. So I spend, and it's Android. It's an Android device, and it has, you know, it's fully qualified for the Google Play Store. So I have installed many of what I consider to be my essential apps for productivity, for running my business in my studio. But here's the interesting thing. In my personal recording studio, You know, I have outboard gear, you know, 1176 compressors, LA2A, you know, compressors, stuff like that. And so, in order to, like, if you're doing a mix, my console is automation, so I can do a very complicated mix and save all the moves. And because it's digital, it's not like, you know, back in the old days where we're using SSL or something. The consoles today, there are over 10,000 parameters you can save. You know, all the effects that you put on, everything, right? So, hey, Marina, thank you so much. I appreciate it. How are you doing? I haven't seen you for a long time. I've sort of missed a couple of your live streams. I've been having sort of a hard time. I'm sorry, but yeah, good to see you. Thanks for joining from Texas. But here's the thing. The outboard gear has knobs on it, you know? It's not like moving faders and encoders and stuff on digital consoles where I can save a file on my computer, press click, and everything's saved. I go into another mix, I want to come back, I just load it and boom, it's back. All the outboard gear, all the knobs, all the settings. Thank you. You got to record them. And so it's a bunch of paper and it sucks. And I got to tell you something. I haven't been so good about keeping up with it. This e-ink tablet allows you to make your own templates. So what I did was I used a standard word processor and I made, you know, documents. This goes way back, but I've made new documents and updated them. You know, that have like the name of the outboard processor or just a blank space to put a name if you want to write it in, and all the parameters and everything about, you know, the mix that I did. Because sometimes I'll replace drum tracks with samples, or I'll do MIDI implementation or something like that. And what I did was I made a standard form, just like I would put on a clipboard in my studio and then put in the file cabinet. The problem is you're going, oh God, okay, so I did this mix 3 years ago, and you go, what the heck? What, you know, oh my gosh, okay, I remember the client, so it's like, you go, okay, I got, you know, 200 pages to go through, right? Forget that. Now, I've got templates. So what I do is I make a folder for a client, Paul Clark. I just did an album for him. And then I've got, you know, inside I've got a notebook for his mixes. I'm also a mastering engineer, so a notebook for the masters that I do for him. And you know, track sheets and take sheets and everything else that I need is a separate notebook. And so you load the note and you load that as a template and you write on it. And the e-ink device saves it. And you can do diagrams or anything you want, and you just swipe like this and you're in the next page, and it just keeps making new pages, and it's like, oh my gosh, I just write the new song title in and the date and everything. Oh my gosh, it's like paperless studio. I'm going to do, on my studio channel, I'm going to do a video on the paperless studio because I think it's important and I think it's a game changer. And so, like, after I'm done this live stream, it's, you know, probably about midnight local time here in Taiwan, and I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to fire up the Note Air 3, and I'm going to sit and I'm going to write about what happened today with a logbook. Had some heart palpitations and, you know, some things that I ate and stuff, but I'm going to look at my schedule for tomorrow and set it up. And here's the thing. Accountability is everything. And if you're trying to change how you do things, there's two aspects. There's probably more than that. But the two main aspects are habit tracking and accountability. Now here's the thing. Let's just say, for example, let's pick something. Let's just say you were trying to quit something. What would it be? I don't know. Let's just say you love donuts. Okay, you want to quit eating donuts or whatever, just pick something. And so you pass by the donut shop and you go, yeah, okay, great. But on the way home, you stop by because you go, you know what? I just don't care anymore. But here's the thing. If you call your friend in the morning and you say, okay, look, I want you to call me today about 3 p.m. and I want you to ask me, did you eat any donuts today? Can you do that for me? Yeah. What'll happen is you'll walk by that donut shop and you'll know, and you'll be thinking, you know, am I going to tell a lie today? Or am I just not going to eat that anymore? What I have found is, hey, Colby, how's it going? What he said. Yeah, because most people don't realize that, but you have to have a metric that you measure it by. And in the case of this, it's either yes or no, I did or I didn't. Yeah, absolutely. Words of wisdom. But seriously, I ask friends of mine to call me and ask me how did I do on certain things. And so my ultimate planner has a habits tracker. Sorry, I'm playing with my lip balm. And the habits tracker is a circular, per month, each day and everything with, it's like 6 lines. You can draw different things in. And when you look at that habits tracker and you have to mark what you did or what you did not do, there's a certain amount of accountability. And having all those things written down. And what's amazing about e-ink is it couldn't be more convenient. And you can have unlimited notebooks. It's just, 5,000 words per notebook, and it's insane. So, it has really, it's done wonders for me. So, but I haven't been on, and I haven't been live streaming because I've been feeling kind of crappy. But I'm starting to get out of it, and I'm also starting to get kind of excited because I have. I'm going to tell you right now, it's like I said, it's $500. It seems like it's a little bit expensive, but don't think about it. Just get it, because it will change your life. And you're in the late night line group, Matthew, and I'd be more than happy to correspond with you directly, or just post a link to it. I don't have any affiliate links or anything like that, but I gotta tell you, as soon as you start using it, you'll see exactly what I mean. You'll be like, wow, where has this thing been? Because here's the thing, I've also been recently studying different learning methods, like the Cornell method and other, just a whole bunch of them. Just trying to get a handle, even at my age, on life and learning and remembering things, And studies even now, modern studies, show that students who handwrite notes in class remember them better than those who type. And I type pretty quickly. And a lot of times I'll go to a place and I'll bring my Surface Pro and I'll be typing notes and stuff, and I just close it up. And they're right. I look at it, 2 days later, I go, did I type that? Wow. But using the e-ink device and sitting down, and also the thing is, it makes you slow down a little bit. There's a principle behind slow listening and slow speaking. Now, people might think you're dumb, but when you're interacting with people and they ask you a question and you just go, and you consider what you're saying, it's less likely that you're going to make a fool out of yourself. But there's something to be said about writing, and it makes you formulate words in a way, or formulate your thoughts, into words in a way that are more concise and yet more precise, because you can't blast 50 words a minute. you're writing at the most, you're writing 20 words a minute, 30 words a minute, if that. And so it really forces you into a kind of a habit, but it's a good habit. And I think humans probably were meant to write like that, you know, for thought organization. So anyway, Onyx Books, B-O-O-X, the Note Air 3C. If you just go to books, BOOX.com, and look for the Note Air 3C, there's a United States store and a Hong Kong store. Now for me, I order from the Hong Kong store and it's free shipping. The United States store will be free shipping for everybody in the US. Get the standard pen. It comes with a folio. The folio is not so great. It's what they call an origami folio, which kind of folds up really interesting, so it'll actually hold a tablet vertical at an angle for reading. But get the standard pen, because they do sell you know, a deluxe pen, and the only difference is the deluxe pen you can flip it over and erase, but the Books has in their software a feature where if you're writing and you make a mistake, you just scribble it out and it erases it. But what I did was I got a lame pen, and the lame pen works better anyway, and it also has an auxiliary button on it for erasing. That's another thing, but yeah. So a couple nights ago, this is Sunday, what am I doing? Yesterday, I was up behind my house, and I decided to do something interesting and fun for me. And I have a Xiaomi projector. So what you're seeing is, that's the projector in the kind of center down the bottom, the little white thing. And what you're seeing is a movie shining on the back of my house. And I'm a real old movie fan, so what this is Earth versus flying saucers. And this is what it is. So anyway, that was it. So I had a lot of fun with that. And also what I did was I used my Dutch oven and my grill, and I made some hot oil, spicy oil. And when I was done, it looked like this. It was really dark. Starbucks Island. Yeah, that could have been. Yeah, that's Earth versus the Flying Saucers with Hugh Marlowe, one of my favorite movies. So that's another Dutch oven that I use just to hold, you know, the container while I was pouring it from the other one. That's my 10-inch. I was pouring it from my 8-inch. And when I was all done, I wanted to see what it looked like, so I just poured some out in a shot glass. And that's the spicy oil. Now let me tell you something. It's about 50-50 virgin olive oil, no seed oil, olive oil, and sesame oil, 100% sesame oil. I use some Thai flakes, you know, chili flakes, and I use some special chili flakes that are made here in Taiwan that are just out of this world. I browned them first, and then I poured the oil in and took it off the fire. And I filmed it, you know, with my Pocket 3. Figured I might make a movie or something, but the thing is, I started thinking about, I want to do something different. So I put it back on the fire and boiled it. You're not supposed to do that, but I don't care. I put it back on the fire and boiled the oil. So here's what happens. If I tried a spoonful of this oil, right? And you guys know me. I can take some spice, some heat. I love it. Very few things I think are all that hot. I remember one time I was at a place, and they had some fried peppers, and I ate one. I said, "What kind of peppers are these?" And they were like, "I think they're called ghost peppers." I'm like, "Oh, well, they're pretty good." Really? But I found out later I'm supposed to be dead after I ate one of those. So I took a spoonful, and right away I was kind of disappointed because I tasted the olive oil. Now I like olive oil, and that's a good source of really clean fat. It's good. But I was hoping to have more spice flavor and more sesame oil flavor. But here's what happened. That olive oil was replaced almost immediately by a nice toasty, you know how the sesame oil is a kind of a toasty, I guess flavor. Sorry, been there so long. Yeah, there's like a toasty kind of flavor in the nose, and then the spice hit, and it came on real subtle, but the ramp was like this, and all of a sudden it was in the stratosphere. And I'm going to tell you, that is hot. When I tell you it's hot, because I eat in Thailand with my friends, and I'm eating food that they say is too hot, and I'm like, really? I think it's great. So when I tell you that oil is hot, it's really hot. So, oh man, I would love to. I'd love to. I heard about those Reapers, Carolina Reapers. I want to try those, but I can't. I mean, I have to import them. I can't. Well, I just don't know of a place around here that has them. But yeah, man, I would love that. And you'd love that hot oil too. Let me get around to editing, and I'll publish it on Real Taiwan channel. You know what I did the other day. You know, with the making that hot oil and stuff. But I want to get back to something I started to talk about earlier. I got kind of sidetracked, but that's okay, because I said that I had read this. I heard about this book years ago, and it just so happens, you know, with the Onyx books, you know, e-ink reader, I installed Amazon Kindle, right? And it's a beautiful reader for Kindle. And with a pen, you can highlight stuff and you can make notes. It's great. You know, when make a note annotation, it opens up the keyboard and you can write by hand notation on it, and it converts it OCR into text. Is great. But I said, hey, I wonder if that old book is still around. It's called Wheat Belly. Funny name for a book, isn't it? Wheat Belly. It's because, you know, years ago, men with big bellies used to call that a beer belly. But it's not. It's actually a wheat belly. And yes, the book exists and it has been updated. And I read it and it scared the crap out of me. I quit eating wheat. I lost like 4 kg sitting on my gut, doing nothing, sitting on my butt, doing nothing. I feel so much better. My heart palpitations are a different thing, but there is actually a relationship, a synergy, a bad one, with wheat and heart arrhythmias. And one of the interesting things about the book that it said, and you'll have to read it for yourself, was that people who stop eating wheat often have withdrawal symptoms. And what happens is the nutritional deficiencies that are caused by eating wheat, because wheat blocks magnesium and potassium and other necessary minerals. Suddenly whatever deficiencies and problems that you had because of deficiencies will suddenly kind of increase. And I've been having more heart arrhythmia problems, and I believe it's related to that. But I gotta tell you, but be careful, because this is what I learned from the book. Gluten is one thing, but never eat gluten-free foods, because they substitute gluten for stuff that's worse. This is, mankind never learns. It's the same with diet soda. They put an artificial sweetener in that does damage, worse than sugar. They'll add cornstarch, or they'll add like tapioca starch and other things. See, and so what the book said was, wheat is the most glycemic thing you can eat, and besides corn and white potato or potatoes, cooked potatoes, and it makes your blood sugar skyrocket. But yeah, not just wheat, but any kind of grains. When I read the first chapter, and I'm like, how can I be so stupid? Grains, barley, okay, oats, and wheat are seeds. What are they seeds of? Grass. Okay, so there's grass everywhere. Why do we have a hunger problem? There's grass right here. It's grass everywhere. Why do we have a hunger problem? Why can't we just eat grass? Grass is inedible to humans. Right? Cows got 4 stomachs, sheep, all these animals, ruminating animals, they have a special digestive system for grass. So why are we eating seeds of an inedible plant? That's the question. And the reason is because we've been told it's healthy. It's not. Healthy whole grains, no. That is a contradiction in terms. They're not healthy at all. And the stuff that I read from this book, you got to read it. Wheat Belly, the updated version. Get it for yourself. It's like $10.99 or $11.99 on Amazon Kindle. Will change your life for the better. But I got to tell you, he's talking about fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis and all these things that, patients would come to him and he would suggest, why don't you try just laying off of wheat for a couple weeks? And they're like, oh, no, I can't do that. He said, well, just a couple weeks. And he wouldn't see the patients for 3 months. And he'd come back and they're 60 pounds lighter and all their problems are gone. In some cases, people experience a reversal of certain symptoms within a week. So it's really worth checking out. And I gotta tell you, I feel so much better. And when I get over my arrhythmia issue, it's actually better now than it was 2 weeks ago. When I get over the hump, because I already have experienced way more energy. I'm going to tell you, this past week, I got more done in 1 week than I got in the previous 3 months. And I think it's a combination of two things. I think it's a combination of what we call intentional planning. I use my planner to make my time intentional and my actions intentional instead of just reactional, if you will. And that new device helped me a lot because it's making me think about what I want to do and plan it out. And so that's going to enable me to, say, for example, finish my first song in like 25 years. I'm gonna release a new song at the end of this month, and I'm able to do it because I planned it out and I have accountability. And so it's been very intentional, that way, and with the accountability. And so I think that's one half of it, and the other half of it is the fact that I quit wheat. Boy, I was lethargic. And another thing too is I have not been live streaming because I've been suffering from depression. I hate that. I had depression years and years and years ago. I'm a man that has nothing to be depressed about. I just spent 4,100 euros on a guitar. I went to France. I don't have to worry about it. Most of the things people worry about, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have any reason to be depressed. But that has nothing to do with depression. And my doctor said that stuff that happened a long time ago can come out now. I was like, oh, I had a terrible childhood. I had a traumatic childhood. Bad. Really bad. And so it's just odd how these things can come out later, and bother us. But what do? Well, you do your best. And you try to maintain integrity and just don't let it make you become a bad person. And it's also important to understand that it's not your fault. That's really important. Because, I got to tell you, forgiving other people, it's not that difficult. But forgiving ourselves is almost impossible. We walk around thinking, I'm a horrible person. I don't deserve to even have air to breathe. No, you're not. You're just human and you messed up. And part of that too, with health, is, if you think about it, this is all with the wheat belly thing. This doctor said when he was a kid, his mom never exercised. She never went out exercising, never went to the gym, never ran. Her exercise was vacuuming the stairs, right? And all their friends, parents' friends, that were all skinny. And then this doctor said that he went on vacation with his wife. He's like 35 years old. His wife, he's got 2 kids. His wife took a picture of him on the beach. He's got this big fat belly and his visceral fat is hanging off the side. And he says, what's going on? He looked at his picture and said, is that me? He jogs 5 miles a day. He's very active. How can this be? And that's when he started looking into his diet and the whole healthy grains and things. But let's talk about what that does to a person. A lot of people are fat, and I'm one of them. I have this visceral fat, but it's not like you can look at the rest of my body and go, this is really strange, all my fat's like around the center. That is the wheat belly. And I know people that are fat, but are they lazy? See, what happens is the medical community says, oh, you just need to exercise more. You're sitting around, you're too lethargic. No. Every one of the fat people that I know is very active, and they don't sit around and gorge on carbohydrates. They don't eat sugary foods. They're not lazy. They're not sitting around. They're at the gym 2 or 3 times a week. They're still fat. What's going on? It's not their fault, but they feel bad. It makes them feel really bad because the medical community is blaming them. And that really struck me, because the whole thing about forgiving other people and forgiving ourselves, there are so many people walking around who are overweight and they hate themselves because they think it's their fault. They think it's a moral failing or a character flaw, and it's not. They've been lied to, and they're eating the wrong foods because that's what they've been told. This may get my YouTube channel canceled. I don't care. That is the truth. And so, yeah. There's nothing wrong with you. You're doing the right thing. You're cutting down on your sugar. You're cutting down on your carbohydrates. You're exercising more. There's just one other thing you got to do. Buy the book Wheat Belly and read it. That's all you got to do. It'll scare the hell out of you, because it sure did me. I'm going to tell you, man, I don't want to say that a lot. I'm going to tell you. I got to tell you. I want to tell you. Yeah, I know. But it's kind of like if you know the end of the world's coming. Can't be quiet about that, can you? It's nighttime here and people are still out and about. There's a guy actually with a rented bike. There's a nice rental bike system here, so yeah, I think you'll like it, Matthew. And kudos to you, right, for cutting out the gluten, but I gotta tell you, the gluten replacements are worse. And all of the, the blood sugar statistics, everything is based on the 2-hour rule. You eat and you time it. 2 hours later, you take your blood glucose level and it has stabilized. But nobody really, well, not nobody, but I mean, it's not usual for doctors to get into the interim period. What happens, how high does it actually spike? And it turns out that these out of control spikes are actually very damaging. They're short duration, but I gotta point out that even an electrical shock of a short duration can do a tremendous amount of damage, right? Yeah, but you know why you feel better? Because carnivore doesn't include wheat. If you add back some of those vegetables, especially like kimchi and sauerkraut, and you add some of the vegetables that add minerals, you'll feel even better. Because I started a carnivore diet and I said, this isn't exactly right. I know the B12's there, I know the amino acids are there, but there are some things that you do need from vegetables. But yeah, you're off of wheat. I bet you lost a considerable amount of weight from that too. Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing, you touched on something else. I'm sorry, it's gone. Touched on something else, but yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the carnivore diet works because you're getting rid of wheat. And I've had a talk with some people about that, and they realized that was the case. And so when I came back from France, I put on a couple kg, Oh man. I mean, you wouldn't believe the bakeries and the stuff. Every meal is cheese and cheese, okay. Every meal is all kinds of breads and stuff. This is a wow. I mean, pastries and, it was great, but, So when I came back, I really laid low on the carbohydrates, and I ate carnivore for a couple of weeks, and I realized that I was missing something. And then after that, I read this book and I realized, okay, that's what it is. Yeah. So under the wheat, they call it the wheat belly lifestyle. The wheat belly diet. The only vegetables that are really off the table is corn and potatoes, sweet potatoes. Those are so glycemic. But oddly enough, raw white potatoes are okay because uncooked they don't have the same carbohydrate load. But the raw potatoes have prebiotics. And I also got some inulin, which is coming from iHerb. And inulin is good for the gut, the microbes. That's important, to keep that going. But yeah, Colby, it's great to see you getting everything on track, man. It's been a long time. I haven't seen you in person since 2010, I think. Wow. My wife and I are looking at, we may be going back to North Carolina. You probably heard, you remember my sister Janet and her husband Mike, you probably heard he passed away about 6 months ago from cancer. So, and my wife has not, my sister has met my wife. She's never met my daughter, and so, she'd like to meet my daughter. She's really been so interested in meeting Phoenix, but we just haven't gone back. Over the last summer, we had a choice, and we decided to go to Europe, instead of the U.S. Actually, believe it or not, it was cheaper. It was cheaper to fly from Taiwan to Paris than it was to fly from Taiwan to any destination in the United States. Go figure. It's just weird. But yeah, so that's about all the news. Let me see, we've been on for 55 minutes. That's about everything that's been going on lately. I'm gonna be busy in the studio, and I'm working on a new tune called a thing called Love, and I think you're gonna like it. I believe it's my best work ever. A lot of 12 strings, 12-string electric, 6-string acoustic, some big guitars, solo guitars, but a lot of the classic vocals like I used to do. And it's obviously it's a love song, which I like doing, and it's a radio single type. So I don't know. I have another one planned immediately after. So by the end of the first quarter, I'm gonna have my first 2 tunes. released. And my pal Robert Monahan is taking an exit. I don't know if it's going to be permanent or not from the music business. I got one tune of his that I'm collaborating with him on, and it's going to be a monster. It's called Only When I Breathe, and boy, it's going to be worthwhile listening to that tune. So I'm currently in the process of orchestrating it. So the song's almost done. So that'll be out during this quarter too. I got to coordinate with him exactly on when it is he wants to release it, but I got so many things planned, and I've got the JTS studio. JTS has graciously basically given me full permission to do whatever I want in their studio. So, short of just giving it to me, basically. So, I have some video shoots that I'm going to do there. I have several video projects for my studio channel, Phoenix Media Forge, about mixing and mastering and other things too. But I also want to do two other videos. One of them is on the making of one of Robert's songs. It was a song that he made years ago, and we redid the vocals for it and had to re-engineer it. But all we had was the original mix, and it was kind of damaged, and tried to restore it, as much as we could restore it. So I want to do a video about that, and I also want to do a video about the Harley Benton double neck, the DC 612, because I did modification to it. I talked about that on another live stream, how I repurposed the tone control, and so it's now the volume control for the second neck, which is, you got a double neck guitar, you've got to have an individual volume control for each neck. It's insane that it was a single volume control and a single tone control for the entire audio path. It just doesn't make any sense. So those things are coming up soon, but hopefully now that I'm feeling a little bit better, I'll be a little bit better about live streaming with you guys, because I miss the interaction. I miss talking with you. I love all you guys, and you know it. But I think at this point, I'm gonna call it a stream. And it is now just a few minutes after midnight, and I'm gonna go upstairs, spend a few minutes with my tablet, writing what's going on, and reviewing tomorrow's schedule, because I'm gonna be in the studio, and see what what my wife has to do, and this and that and the other. And we'll see if we can't do another live stream during the during the week. So you guys take care, and we'll see you next time. And let's see. This is let me turn the camera around. This is thank you, Matthew. I appreciate it. Thank you. Turn the camera around. And this is thank you so much, and you enjoy time with your family too. This is the realty company. For some reason, they always have these lights on. It's kind of annoying, but they used to have lights on the trees, and it pointed up to my house in my daughter's window. And I went over here at night, and I actually put some bricks, stacked them up so I could reach and sit on top and pull the lights down. But I had to go in there and ask them to stop doing it. But anyway, they put these lights on the side. I don't know why. I mean, there's nothing there. They put a table out there and stuff, but all they do is sit out there and smoke. So anyway, that's what's next door. You guys take care. Say Tai Chen and Wan Fan. See you again. Good night from Taiwan. Bye bye.